Your voice, your opinion, your community. Fact TV, free speech protected.
Good evening and welcome to another edition of Bits and Pieces. My name is Bill Morse. And we have a guest today. His name is Oliver, and Oliver will be a silent guest. Oliver, sit down right now, please. Sit. Okay, the last couple of weeks, oh, by the way, today is Valentine's Day. We're recording on Tuesday, February 14th, so I hope that all of you have been able to spend time with someone you care about and wish them a happy Valentine's Day. So, we've been talking about, we've just spent 4 weeks, 4 previous episodes on a documentary called The C Word, cancer and the various causes or settings that make cancer more than likely in our bodies. And we talked about 4 areas that we should all be paying attention to as far as making our body more immune resistant to the growth and spread of cancer cells, and that is exercise, nutrition, stress management, and limiting our exposure to toxins around us, either through our nose, breathing in, or through the pores in our hands by physical contact. So while we were doing this, I came across, I was looking at ingredients that we should be avoiding in the foods that we eat on a daily basis. We went over fruits and vegetables, how they are marked, whether they are organic or have genetically modified organisms or bioengineered process in their cultivation and their packaging. And for apples, for example, if they have been sprayed and washed off but sprayed nonetheless, they would be marked non-organic or GMO, growth modified organism, because of the spraying or the herbicides that might be used in their cultivation. Fruits, vegetables as well. It's better, the consensus was from the discussion that it's better to pay a bit more, sometimes 50 cents more a pound for produce or fruits or vegetables that are organic, as opposed to those that have been genetically modified in from the seed up until the treatments or chemicals that may be used on them during the cultivation period. So what that got me to thinking was food cereals. And I don't eat a lot of food cereals. I think food cereals really got a boost during the Seinfeld TV series, where what was his first name? Jerry Seinfeld had in categories different food cereals that he would eat anytime during the day when he wanted a snack or he wanted a quick, easy meal. And I remember also myself eating certain cereals as a substitute for a meal. So cereals kind of got a boost from that. Also, certain cereal companies have been bought out by bigger conglomerates. And we're going to talk about a conglomerate today that has introduced itself into the cereal world, and that is Hershey. We're going to talk specifically about not just Hershey bar, but Reese's, Hershey and Reese's are one and the same company. And as the original premise for this program, I was going to talk about Reese's Puffs from General Mills. General Mills in Minneapolis is an old, probably 100-year-old cereal manufacturer. And they have teamed up with Hershey and Reese's to produce their version of what I will call Cocoa Puffs. I remember Cocoa Puffs growing up. And the best part was the chocolate milk that was left over. These are kind of a version of their answer to Cocoa Puffs, an updated version. So I was curious what went into these. We were looking at ingredients to see if there were any bioengineered food ingredients in these products. And looking at Hershey Bar, first off, Hershey Bar is kosher. There's the little emblem at the end of the ingredients. The ingredients are milk chocolate. Now, if you remember, the ingredients are only listed if they make up 5% or more of the food product. So there may be other ingredients, but they're less than 5%. And by FDA, Federal Drug Administration standards, they do not have to be listed on the ingredients for the packaging. So the first ingredient is the prevalent ingredient. In other words, that has the largest percentage of the food product, and that is naturally milk chocolate. Sugar, milk, chocolate, cocoa butter in milk chocolate. Milk fat, lecithin, which is a soy product. Now, soy is a little bit of a red flag because 90% of the soy and corn that are produced in this country come from seeds that have been bioengineered. In other words, they've been artificially changed or modified so that their growth is increased. They are more resistant to insects, to extremes in weather, thereby bringing down the necessity for herbicides or pesticides to keep little critters and bugs and such that feed on these plants away. So possible bioengineered food products in the soy. PGPR, I don't know what that is, and natural flavor. Natural flavor is like it's an umbrella expression. It's like propellant in a spray that you use for cooking oil. Propellant, we learned from looking at PAM and a couple of other pan sprays that they have butane and propane in them under the name of propellant. They don't say butane or propane on the can. They say propellant, which is kind of a euphemism for the gases that they use. Remember, and of course, these gases, by being in the pan, cooking the food, go into the food that you're eating. What else? Contains soy and milk. So soy generally is bioengineered, but for some reason, this is not considered a bioengineered product by the FDA, even though it has soy in it. So that's Hershey's. And Reese's. Hershey's acquired Reese's, I don't know how many years ago, but they were a separate company at one time. There was a Mr. Hershey, Melvin Hershey, about 100 and some odd years ago. And there was a Mr. Reese, also about 100 years ago. And looking here, it's the same story. It's pretty much the same ingredients, except you have peanuts. Milk chocolate, sugar, cocoa butter, chocolate, skim milk, milk fat, lactose, lecithin, which is soy, and again, probability of this soy being genetically modified, all right, or bioengineered, same expression, same meaning. Peanuts, sugar, dextrose, salt, TBHQ, which I'm afraid I don't know what TBHQ is, and citric acid to maintain freshness. And this is also has the circled U and the capital D, which means that this as well, Reese's is also considered a kosher product. And there's a little message here. It says, get ready to taste perfection. Now, Hershey's, through their Reese's division, teamed up with General Mills to produce this variation of Cocoa Puffs. And that's my interpretation. It's not official. It's not on anybody's website. And I wanted to talk a little bit about this package and the fact that not only you have these two chocolate products in the cereal, but you also have a fashion designer. Her name is Yoon An. She's a Korean fashion designer. If you want to look her up and what her fashions look like, we will be doing that next week, but her name is Y-O-O-N, Yoon An, A-H-N. She's from South Korea. She designs everything from dresses for men and women, let's say clothing, purses, apparel, accessories, let's say that. And her line is called Ambush. And Ambush is the name of the theme for these Reese's Puffs, Ambush. I picked this up about a month ago at Shaw's. Generally, this package goes for about $6.50. It was on sale for $3, so I picked it up. Next week, we will talk more about the collaboration between Reese's through Hershey's and the Ambush line of fashion and marketing Reese's Puffs. Kind of an interesting story, but that'll be next week. What I wanted to do in digging a little bit into Hershey is to look at their website and just kind of give you an idea of how big this multinational corporation is. When I say multinational, it's an American company. Hershey is still an American company, headquartered out of Hershey, Pennsylvania. But it has offices and manufacturing plants around the world in an effort to expand its market of snacks. It's in what we would call the snack industry. Although I'm sure they're probably working on a way to introduce Hershey into people's, well, breakfast is one meal, but lunch and dinner as well. So we're going to go to the website here, and there we go. Thank you. The website is under thehersheycompany.com, and it has a Hershey, the name with Hershey Kiss. And if you look at it, you'll see careers, contact us frequently, ask questions, and then they have different categories: Hershey Land, Hershey Park. These are entertainment theme parks, much like Disney World and Disneyland for the Walt Disney Corporation. Hershey Store and Hershey World. And we're going to just look at, when I can hit this, about us. Making more moments of goodness. For more than 125 years, we've made moments of goodness for people around the world with our iconic, beloved brands. So it's a family of different products, obviously. And values-driven snacking powerhouse. 90 brands, and this I'm sure is considered one of them, the Reese's Puffs through General Mills, a collaboration of one multinational corporation with another. A little bit about the background, promise of doing good. Why the picture from Africa? Because chocolate is grown in Africa. Also in Central America. It's kind of if you can grow chocolate cocoa beans. You can probably grow coffee beans as well. Coffee and chocolate kind of have parallel tracks as far as areas in the world where they are grown. Generally hot tropical climates, like I said, Central America, parts of Africa. And for many, many years, for centuries, both coffee and cocoa have been grown through exploitation of the host country where the product is grown, and then shipped first by boat, perhaps still by boat, to manufacturing facilities to turn out a product that's ready for people to buy. So let's go about us. Let's go to brands. And you have a different products that Hershey sells: Kit Kat, Fifth Avenue, Twizzlers, Milk Duds, Reese's Pieces. Incidentally, I don't know if you've seen that film. Came out in the early 70s. No, it came out in the late 70s. It was called E.T., Extraterrestrial, E.T. Call Home. And if you remember, if you've seen the movie, E.T. breaks into a bag of Reese's Pieces. And that was really a pretty strong marketing ploy. You see products being introduced into movies that are popular and that are aimed at children and young adults. Let's see, we offer, oops, we're getting away here. A lot of goodwill statements. More choices for more moments. We offer choice and transparency, equity, etc. Let's see what else we have here. Brands, got that. Ingredients. Let's see. Because we were looking at the ingredients for Hershey chocolate bar, Reese's cups. Let's see. Zero sugar treat, organic Hershey's dark chocolate. So they do offer organic products. And there you see the cocoa beans drying in a cocoa bean plantation. I'm going to guess somewhere in Central America, could be Honduras. Again, there are similarities between the cocoa industry, which makes chocolate, cocoa beans, and the coffee industry. Often the two are grown sometimes the two are grown side by side. And allergens, food sensitivity in mind. Okay, dietary needs: gluten-free, organic, kosher, zero sugar, and let's see, gluten-free and organic. Now, I wanted to look at their take on GMOs. Let's see. About our ingredients. Smart label. Now, smart label is what they call the scan on the back of the packaging. That's called a smart label. It gives you a little bit more information about the ingredients if you have the technology to use the scan and read it. Same thing with the Hershey bar. There is what's called a smart label on the back, and in fact it's like this scan right here, which will, under the flap, which gives you a lot more information about the product. All right, so that's their efforts. Same thing with the Reese's cup. Underneath, where the heck is it? Yeah, there's another scan square. Okay. Read our position on GMO disclosures. Let's look at that. Okay. So, Hershey Company position statement on GMO disclosures. This was November 2021. It says farmers have used selected breeding techniques for thousands of years to improve the quality and productivity of food crops. Okay. Today, modern methods of plant biotechnology enable plant geneticists. In other words, these are people that are changing the genetic structure of the plant by actually changing the introducing variations to the seed of the plant to improve the genetic makeup of food crops more rapidly than is possible through selective breeding techniques. All right. In other words, this is an artificial means of production, artificial variations that are outside the realm of the natural growth and flourishing of the plant, creating a more reliable food supply. For example, crops may be more resistant to insects and weeds or better able to withstand disease through these genetic modifications, reducing the need for insecticides and herbicides. We mentioned that earlier. These crops allow for stronger yields and less loss, which reduces food insecurity around the world. Food insecurity. So in other words, this is a promotional statement for genetically modified organisms, or same expression, genetically modified or bioengineered organisms, bioengineered foods. Other benefits may include longer shelf life, better appearance, and enhanced nutrition. Enhanced nutrition. Okay, enhanced nutrition through artificial. Well, the proof of that would be in the nutritional statement. 3 servings per container, calories, blah, blah, and then it gives you the percentages. Well, as far as nutritional improvement, I see added sugars making up 71% of this, 36 grams of this one bar. 36 grams is like three donuts from Krispy Kreme in this one bar. So I think enhanced nutrition, that could be debated. Food crops modified using modern genetic techniques, often referred to as GMO crops or GMOs, have been planted widely since the 1990s. In the United States, the terms genetically modified organism and bioengineered are sometimes used interchangeably. No, that's true. Scientific and regulatory agencies around the world, including the World Health Organization, World Health Organization, I'll leave it at that. The European Food Safety Authority. Now, I found that strange because in Europe, there are 38 countries that have banned the use of GMOs and bioengineered products in their foods and drinks. 38 countries in Europe. So evidently there are countries that in Europe that still do use GMOs, but in other words, why would they make such a statement? So the European Food Safety Authority says they use GMOs in food products in Europe. I've found information that 38 countries have actually banned them, the use of GMOs and or bioengineered food products in people's food. U.S. American Medical Association, which I would put in the same boat as the World Health Organization. Health Canada, same boat. And the Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations. Again, prestigious names, but I am suspicious, especially after the last 2 years, of their intentions and as to their commercial interests in selling products to the consumer. Have examined. Woo, 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 woo. Oliver, did you hit a key by mistake? I can blame this on you. All right. Here we are. These organizations have examined GMO or bioengineered crops in widespread. Oh, God. Sorry, everyone. I'm not quite sure why it's doing this. Automatic scrolling. All right. Have concluded that GMOs or bioengineered crops are safe for human consumption. They said other things were safe too, and we're finding out differently. In the United States, the U.S. Department of Agriculture estimates that over 94% of all soybeans, 92% of corn, and 99.9% of sugar beets come from GMO plants, which, in my opinion, makes it very important that we shop locally as far as where our food comes from, so that it does not, there's less of a chance of the food being treated genetically as in its seed form. But anyway, obviously you can eat this stuff and in moderation, but again, as we talked about in building our immune system, we couple this with other bad habits, lack of sleep, stress in our workspace, stress at home, toxins that we're exposed to, lack of exercise, and unnatural ingredients in our food. That brings our immune system down and, of course, makes us more susceptible to sickness, disease, or cancers. Although GMO food ingredients are safe and used across the world, there is no universal agreement on whether their presence in food products should be disclosed, and if so, how. Kind of reminds me, and I don't think I'm going out too far on a limb, when the tobacco industry, which, if you're old enough to remember ads from the 40s and early 50s, there were doctors that promoted smoking. In fact, there was a Chesterfield, I believe, cigarettes promoted the T-zone. They had a doctor with his white smock on smoking a cigarette, and they talked about the T-zone of your nasal passages and your throat going down to your lungs, and how smoking actually was good for your respiratory system. Later on, maybe by the 90s, they finally admitted that there were up to 70 chemicals that were toxic to the human body used in the manufacture of cigarettes, and that those toxins are not going to be removed. They are there for a purpose. Part of it is to make the product or the cigarette addictive. So we finally got warnings on cigarette packages, as well as a financial settlement in 1996. But for a long time, they did not want to put any warning on cigarettes. I think at least we've come to the stage where you do know if there are generally GMOs in these products. If this uses soy, I'm going to guess that there's a small amount of bioengineered food in both of these products. Not a lot. Not as much as Reese's Puffs, which we'll go into further next week, which actually does have the label, contains bioengineered food ingredients, which account for more than 5% of the product content. Otherwise, it would not be listed. So 5% it gets listed, less than 5% no. So as a result, the labeling requirements for food products that contain GMO ingredients vary from country to country. And again, I'll double check my information, but GMO products, as far as I know, are banned from most foods sold in Europe. Depends on the country, obviously, but they're not as prevalent as in our country. They're a little bit more stricter on the natural ingredients, or the staying with natural ingredients and avoiding artificial ingredients in the food product. So they talk about the smart label, and that's it. So last paragraph. We know that some consumers prefer to avoid products that contain GMO ingredients. For those consumers, we offer a range of products that do not contain them. Okay, and they list the products. So there's a recognition, albeit minor recognition, of an issue, possible issue with GMOs and or bioengineered products. So let's go back. All right. Innovation, newsroom, blog. All right. I wanted to just look here. Newsroom. Press releases. Oh, by the way, let's see. I wanted to go into just how widespread Hershey's is. Come on. About the company, brands, no, ingredients, about our ingredients. Why can't I find this? Well, anyway, if you recall, and again, this is just, where are you guys? Sustained goals, sustained reports, policies, innovation. I'm looking for their sites around the world. Brands, news, hold on just a second, Oliver. Choose your moment. Okay, working ingredients. I'm looking for where they have their places. I don't know why the hell I can't find it. Careers, media, we'll go back one more. Oh, here we go. Plant locations. All right. Just like the tobacco industry, when they saw that their product was going to have a shrinking market in the U.S., they expanded to other countries, notably China. Marlboro at one time became the favorite cigarette by Chinese smokers, and obviously the cancer rate went up. Again, that was just a marketing approach. Hershey, as far as marketing its product, is no different. They take their profits, they put it back into the company, and they try to have, or they're looking for, product growth. And I just wanted to show you, or go through, the different plants. Hershey is really all over the world. Obviously, Hershey, PA, Hazleton, PA is where Kit Kats are made. Lancaster, Twizzly candies are made there. Sometimes, I know in some of these places, these were other candy companies that were taken over by Hershey. Let's see. Stewart's Draft VA, Robinson, Illinois. The Heath bar was made there. Heath was bought out, and this candy store is now a museum, and it's run by Hershey in Robinson, Illinois. There's a plant in Memphis, and they make gum and mints there, and licorice, and the Icebreaker brand is made in Memphis, Tennessee. Now, Hershey's has expanded to Brazil. Why Brazil? Well, actually, they're closer to the chocolate, the cocoa bean source in Brazil, so it makes sense that they would have a factory. And there's a big market in Brazil. Millions of potential new customers for their snack products. Canada, obviously. Next door, India. Also beverages and candies, confectionery. Japan. All right. Korea, which may be the link with the fashion designer Yoon An, who is promoting Reese's Puffs, which contains Hershey product, Hershey chocolate. Malaysia, Mexico, the Philippines, even the United Arab Emirates. So they're in these different companies or countries around the world to expand their market. And there's one other instance of marketing I wanted to bring up, and then we'll draw the program to a close. Let's see. There is actually brands. I want to go to Reese's. Let's see if I can just go to Reese's University. There's actually, for publicity purposes, Reese's University.com. Let's see if that brings it up. Yeah, there it is. There's a Reese's University outside of Hershey, or in that same part of the state. Come on. And you see here, Reese's U, home of the Fighting Cuppies, Reese's Cup. And you have athletics, admission, student store, and you have the picture of a campus. The combination of greatness, dreams are built on perfect combinations, talent, perseverance, curiosity, passion, chocolate, and peanut butter. The next great combination could be Reese's University and you. And you see a young man going into a Ivy League type of building. Are you Reese's University? Are you awesome? Do you look good in orange? Do you dream about Reese's peanut butter cups? I added that myself. If you bleed Reese's orange, are you is for you. So this is like, come on, for signing up and enrolling in our classes. Declaring a major. We know declaring your love for Reese's is easy. Declaring a major, maybe not. That's why we have created the perfect quiz to help any undeclared students make this major decision. Maybe if we have time next week, we'll take the quiz. There's chemistry, and there's the formula for chocolate. C7H8N4O2. I'm not sure if that's accurate or if that's made up. I'll look at it later. There's a molecule back there. I think it may be actually the molecular structure for chocolate. What's happening? We have a young man with a schmuck on, and he's looking at a piece of chocolate. Peanut butter pool opens to rave reviews. Try to say that again. So you have experimentation in the first picture. You have a pool, peanut butter pool in the middle picture, and then admissions. Come and apply. Anybody can be a new member. You could be part of the groundbreaking innovation in chocolate and peanut butter research. Sounds exciting. Learn more. Now, there's a caveat to all this. Athletics, admissions, student store. It says in very small letters that you can't read on screen because, but I'll read it on this screen. It says, our lawyers want you to know Reese's University is not a real university. In other words, all of this is just an ad. Who is the ad aimed at? College students that snack on Reese's when they're prepping for an exam, when they're about to get their grades and they're a little bit nervous. Maybe they have the munchies and there's a bag of Reese's cups nearby, whatever. So, when I first saw this about a month or so ago, I thought this place was real. And because if you look through it, and we're not going to take the time to do that now, they actually have courses, chemistry courses in the manufacturing or the enhancement, let's say enhancement, artificial enhancement of chocolate. So anyway, home of the Fighting Cuppies. I just thought this was a clever or interesting way of marketing to a particular group of people, young people in a particular situation in college. And it's clever from a marketing standpoint. So next week, we are going to dive into Reese's Puffs. We're going to look at the campaign behind the Ambush brand of apparel and apparel accessories, clothing accessories. A little bit into the South Korean designer who put her brand behind Reese's Peanut Butter Cups and General Mills to to enhance the market for this particular food cereal. And on the other side, there's a website we'll check out called Reese'sPuffs.world, ready to enter the next breakfast dimension. This is the future of breakfast. If you look at the advertising on the box, the future of breakfast is Reese's Puffs. So, thank you for joining me. I hope you found it interesting. I enjoyed, I never realized how extensive the marketing is for a multinational corporation such as Hershey's, and how Hershey's is able to partner up with food companies, cereal companies, and who knows what else in the future, as well as get their product introduced into movies that, again, the audience is young people and people with a propensity for sweets and that would love to snack on these items. So, again, thank you for joining. Hope you've found the program interesting, and we'll be back next week on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. If you miss the program on Tuesday at 6 p.m., you can catch it Thursday at 6 p.m. So I wish you a healthy rest of the week, and God bless, and hope to see you back again next week. Bye-bye.